Hey guys, so some of you asked for more Pocket Edition exclusive features of Minecraft, and here I am to deliver. And this one is gonna blow your mind. Hey yo pretty people, my name is ZloYxp and well, there goes all of my gunpowder for a silver prey intro skit. Good one Zloy, good one. By the time you get a Elytra, you'll have to farm some more creepers. But anyway, guys, in the previous episode, I healed the third villagers. I healed the third villager, and now he's up there. Is that him? No, that's not him. I swapped him for another one after a while. But now we have ourselves a little bit of a villager farm. Now, of course, I was originally planning on doing this on camera, but at the same time, at one point I realized, what if it doesn't work? So I decided to test it out, and what better way to test it out? Except, like, if not building it right now and right here. Now, this design is a very simple one. We have two villagers, two farmers, running around harvesting carrots. On top of them, 4 blocks above them, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 6 doors, and a villager detecting those 6 doors. Now, this villager on top, and this is a basic schematic, basic villager logic that I explained many times on this channel. That guy on top thinks, okay, I'm alone in this village, and there are 3 doors in it. So I am justified, my existence is justified, but there also are another 3 doors, and every 3 doors require 1 new villager. They count as a separate house, which is why he's sitting there thinking to himself, alright, I need more villagers for this village. So these guys are kind of receiving his mental notes, and they're going, okay, so we will make more villagers for the village, and that makes them willing to reproduce. Even more, what's more important, they are not just willing to reproduce. Thanks to them constantly farming the carrots, they have food, and having food is the second requirement for them to reproduce and to create even more villagers like themselves. Now, the guys down there are a shepherd, and the second one is a shepherd too. Yep, so they are pretty useless, but I had the third one actually sitting somewhere in the dungeons already. And the third one is, of course, a farmer. And farmers are way more important and way more useful than the rest of the villager kind. You'll quickly notice and realize why. Now, the reason why he's so useful is because he has all sorts of traits that can provide you with emeralds. Like right now, I could have bought an emerald from him for carrots, but I won't because I don't have them. I will, however, use up all of my pumpkins to get it. So yeah, you get the point. You can unlock even more traits from the farmer, and this guy will happily sell you emeralds for stuff. And I need emeralds so I can buy enchanted books, and further along the way I will probably be able to use emeralds to buy even full-on diamond tools, which is the end game. Well, not the end game, but the end game for this little villager kerfuffle, for those villagers shenanigans. What I want is, I want armorers and toolsmiths. Not so much the swordsmiths and the weaponsmiths, but more so toolsmiths, because once I have infinite amount of diamond pickaxes, I will be happy to use them. At the moment I only have iron tools, and that's tiny bit depressing, which is why you don't see much building in this series. And yes, by the way, down in the comments, if you want to see more building, just do drop me a comment, do tell me, just like it was with the whatchamacallit, with the more features for the more Bedrock exclusive features. I will happily showcase some of my buildy stuff, and it's been a while since we walked on our little basement and made it into a proper basement, because yeah, my plans of building the mansion aren't moving real fast. You could see though that I've been digging out, and I've been digging out this little dungeon for villagers for quite a while now. The reason why I wanted this dungeon was, well, first of all, my horse likes it. Don't you? Don't you like it? Some of you guys said that I should rename a horse Zombie Cleo. And yeah, that is something that is really hard to resist. So at one point I will definitely buy another name tag, chip in for an anvil, and finally rename the horse into something. I'm not promising that I will rename it into a Zombie Cleo. That just sounds tiny bit too mean to a horse. And but yeah, it needs a name. And once again, comments are there for your suggestions. Do you want more building in this series? Probably you do. I do. I know. And what name do you suggest we rename the horse? Last time there was some great suggestions. Let's see if we get any great suggestions this time. So for a bit I was wanting to leave those guys just to reproduce freely. Why are they holding carrots? I didn't even know that they can hold stuff in this version. But they obviously do. And they're even kind of good at it. Look at it, I can barely... Oh, hey, give me... I can steal their taters! Well, not taters, the carrots. I can steal their carrots! Losers! Yeah, anyway, the thing that I was saying was that for a while I was thinking that I'll just let them reproduce, let them breed for a bit. As you can clearly see, there isn't even a hole for them to fall into after they've been birthed into the world. So yeah, I wasn't too bothered until I suddenly found them spinning in circles and throwing carrots at each other. Now, this could mean that perhaps while we're at it, we could solve another problem that I have in this series. And that is the fact that I spent a lot of time just running around killing animals. Now, there's nothing too bad about running around killing animals, but at some point in your Minecraft life, you just have to face the consequences and actually create some kind of a food source, a reliable food source, I mean, for yourself. Hunting is fun, but it cannot last you forever, despite the fact that the animals are spawning frequently and abundantly. So, I've been thinking, what if we could utilize those guys to create some carrots for me? Now, first thing that I thought to myself was, how about we use water to flush the crops? And yeah, alright, that would be fun. That would be fun and dandy. We could put a bunch of dispensers, something like this. Drop some water buckets in them, like this. Create a button, perhaps. Place it, drop it, zoop it, and ta-da! All the crops are flushed down, except for the ones that are filling the villagers' inventory. Meaning that the villagers would still be able to replant. They will still be able to reproduce, and they will still be able to create stuff, while I will be provided with literal stacks upon stacks of carrots. That sounds alright, that sounds okay. Are you gonna actually plant something, guys, or are you just gonna showcase, like, brag about you having carrots on you? But that is a bit of a hassle, a bit of a problem right here. As you can clearly see, those guys aren't really well, okay, they are replanting. They are replanting, and they are replanting somewhat reliably. The problem is that I wouldn't probably want to combine a villager breeder with a villager carrot maker. That's one thing. And another thing is that, well, yeah, by harvesting okay, the timing is probably wrong. I cannot guarantee a perfect timing for, like, when villagers both have a bunch of carrots in their inventory, and also the system is flushing. At the same time, most of the carrots that the system will be flushing might be picked up back by the villagers themselves. Third problem, and that is the biggest one here, is that the villagers, while in water, will be jumping around. And it seems like they will be also stomping the crops. So that is absolutely freaking stupid. That is absolutely freaking moronic. The fact that the villagers, while jumping in water, will be stomping the crops underneath their feet. But so it is, and eventually the farmland will be just freaking eradicated from the farm, and that is not something you want from a reliable food source. If every blood moon, if every blue moon, you have to go around replanting something, that is not a reliable food source, my friends. So there I am, sitting, staring at the villagers, just running around, throwing carrots at each other. And one of my thoughts is, what if I created a bit of a system with a minecart with hopper running underneath them, harvesting, basically taking the carrots away from them every time they throw it, picking them up from underneath their nose. That would be pretty sneaky, pretty smart, and they would still be able to share the carrots between each other, just in between the runs of the minecart. Yet there is probably a reason why most of the redstoners don't do that kind of stuff. First of all, you really should not combine the villager farm with the carrot farm, and second of all, yeah guys, I have infinite supply of bone meal just sitting around. Okay, here we have a take on ImpulseSVs again. Yeah, this is the Impulse episode, apparently. On ImpulseSV's nano-farm, which supposedly should work in this version of Minecraft too, but it doesn't. See, the crop does not pop off. That is a problem. That is obviously a problem, and that is a problem for me, because I need my nano-farm to not only grow the crops instantly, but also to harvest them instantly. And this just, yeah, it does not harvest. It does not harvest, not in the slightest. Why does it happen, I hear you ask? And here's the answer. The thing is that in Java version, where this was developed originally, the lighting mechanic made it so that in the darkness the crop pops off. In our case, it seems there's either not enough darkness, or the rules have changed and everything works differently now. Meaning that we will have to come up with some kind of a other way of powering this little silly thing. But don't worry guys, don't worry, there are two other possible outcomes here. First of all is pulling the ground from underneath the crop, which is not an option. Because we do not have slime in this world yet. I have yet to find a slime, I have yet to kill it, and I have yet to set up a slime farm. Meaning that pulling something somewhere is not exactly a thing. We could move it around using two non-sticky pistons, but where's the fun in that? On the other hand, we could probably provide one of the dispensers with a water bucket and make the water bucket flush the crops down, which does seem like a better solution, but that will require some pondering and some tweaking. Villager update. They now have 2 librarian villagers. The book society of the village is flourishing. So in a perfect world, this stupidity should work. What we have here is, well, this is pretty self-explanatory. A mess of redstone. A mess of redstone connected to, mind you, a comparator clock, which somehow works from a torch now. That's not something I recall working, but that is logical and I appreciate it. Anyway, it is working and it is spouting bone meal at its best. Now, all logically, seeing how this torch is being able to convey the signal fast enough, reading from the comparator clock, and this redstone being fast enough to convey the signal from this torch, this throw out thingy-magic, what's his name, dispenser, should be able to also throw out the bucket fast enough to work with this scheme. So every time there is a positive tick on the dispensers with the bone meal and the crops are grown, the dispenser with the whatchamacallit should also dispense the water. That is not happening. Not happening like at all. Which is why we will go for a much more rudimentary and much more terrible design of just having a freaking stupidest clock ever, which has been there ever since redstone has been introduced. Villager update. They have a baby butcher, which now that I think about, baby butcher is sounds like a very terrible profession. Okay, so now we'll put it somewhere in here where we can have... Oh, hey! Hey dude! How's the frisbee going? Still didn't find it? Oh well. Tell me once you do it, we'll have ourselves a game of catch or something. Why you no walk? Okay. Let's see what it does. Seems fine. Seems fine. And plant! Stop eating, you idiot. Plant! Plant! There we go. That's way better. Seems tiny bit slow. Tiny bit. Tiny bit due to gravity not being too fast, it seems. But overall, I would say it's better than having no nano-farm at all. Definitely better. Now, I don't know, maybe some more experienced Minecraft players of Bedrock Edition could probably advise me how to make this tiny bit more efficient and tiny bit more fast. For now, I'm kind of content with this one. I'm kind of okay with just having to stand here for a bit. Now, downsides. Okay, let's go with the upsides. Upsides of these things, of which there are only one. I can switch it off easily. And that's it. That's literally the only one. Okay, the second one is that I am near the whatchamacallit, near the skeleton spawner. So not only am I happy enough and lucky enough to constantly hear the freaking dispenser dispensing, but also I get to hear all of the skeletons dying, which is also quite quote-unquote pleasant. At the same time, we have upsides of yeah, having villagers around, I suppose, but he's not up to getting any carrots from me at the moment. Can get some pumpkins though. Hey dude, here, have some. Yeah, that's about it for the pros. Cons, it's loud, it's noisy, it's terrible, it's slow, and hey, it does the job done, which is good enough for me for today. To be completely honest, I'm not too smart at redstone. I'm not smart at redstone enough to make this thing even better, which is why I have you guys. So if you have a pretty good convenient design, do share it in the comments. And yeah, thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked this video. If you did, do leave a like down in the in the leave a like button, and of course do subscribe if you want to see more of my shenanigans here in Minecraft Bedrock Edition. From now on, we have infinite food and nearly infinite emeralds, thanks to this guy who is, look at that, buying carrots all over again. Once again, thank you everybody so much for watching. To be continued.